After dedicating 2 years of her life to studying journalism, Paz Vega came to a shocking realization that she was on the wrong path, heading to the wrong destination. As hard as it was for her to admit, she didn't want to be a journalist and she was done running away from what she truly wanted. The conviction to pursue her genuine passion, acting, burned like an unquenchable fire in her soul. Then and there, she made the audacious decision to drop out of school, pack her bags, and relocate to Madrid to embrace her true calling as an actress. The journey toward becoming a star would transform her existence in ways she could have never imagined. Soon enough, she would come face to face with the truth about the industry. From explicit roles to controversial issues, let's explore the life of Paz Vega. Prepare to be mesmerized. Paz Vega, winning with beauty and brains. How did this devout Catholic girl grow up to become someone that some consider to be the sexiest actress alive? Paz Vega may have come from a traditional family, but there is nothing traditional and conventional about the person she has become. Although she is known all over the world as Paz Vega, she was originally named Maria de la Paz at birth. It was when she ventured into acting that she decided to change her name and create a new identity for herself. After trying to get a career breakthrough for years, her performance in the sitcom Siete Vidas transformed her career. But what a lot of people didn't know was that she got interested in acting while she was a teenager, but didn't pursue this passion until she was older. Initially, Paz Vega didn't plan on being an actress. She was more interested in journalism, and she decided to go to school for it. While studying the course, she realized that she didn't really want to be a journalist. Acting was the one thing that set her soul on fire, so she decided to go for it. As soon as her mind was made up, she dropped out of school, packed her bags, and relocated to Madrid in order to launch her acting career. Starting with a few TV roles in the 1990s, Paz Vega was determined to give her all to her acting career. But like several other talented actors, her career didn't take off immediately. She played some minor roles and didn't get major recognition till her role in the sitcom Siete Vidas. After that role, fame came knocking on her door, and before she knew it, she was on the big screen dropping amazing performances through her role as Lucia in Sex and Lucia in 2001. This role shone a light on her and made people see her as the skilled actress that she was. Several people who watched her performance in the film said she was a combination of beauty and brains. However, as a result of the explicit scenes she was involved in, people began to see her as a sex symbol. It became difficult to separate her being a professional actress from the things people had seen her do on screens. As a result of the fact that Sex and Lucia made her extremely famous, most of her fans saw the character, Lucia, when they saw her. In a world of red carpets, captivating interviews, and mesmerizing movie sets, she began to effortlessly embody the allure of a sex symbol. However, what if the perception surrounding her went beyond mere superficiality? Could it be that the way people started to perceive her was not a curse, but a beautifully veiled blessing hidden in plain sight? The real Paz Vega. Ever wondered why Paz Vega seems so different from her colleagues? What are the traits that have made her shine brightly in an industry filled with several skilled actresses? Well, here is how Paz Vega uses authenticity to win in the world of fame. On screens, Paz Vega has spent decades entertaining audiences, but beyond her career, she has garnered a loyal army of fans who adore her for several reasons. Some people admire the fact that Paz Vega is confident in her own skin. This is a remarkable quality that has propelled her career and made her a standout figure in the entertainment industry. She embraces her unique features, embracing her natural beauty and radiating self-assurance. Whether she is gracing the red carpet or appearing on screen, her confidence shines through, captivating audiences and leaving a lasting impression. This self-confidence not only enhances her performance, but also inspires others to embrace their unique qualities without hesitation. Despite working in an industry where the dominant language is English, Paz Vega remains unfazed by any potential intimidation. Being Hispanic, she fearlessly navigates and excels in environments that may not always mirror her cultural background. Rather than trying to conform or fit into the expectations of her English colleagues, she celebrates her heritage and brings a fresh perspective to her work. This unwavering self-confidence and cultural pride have made her an influential figure, breaking barriers and forging new paths for Hispanic actors in the international entertainment industry. In a world that often values conformity, Paz Vega stands out by embracing her uniqueness. She doesn't strive to fit in or conform to societal expectations, instead embracing her individuality with grace and confidence. This refusal to be confined by conventional norms has allowed her to shine brightly as an actress, capturing the attention and admiration of audiences worldwide. The actress has also inspired a lot of women to go after their dreams fearlessly, believing that they can do whatever they set their minds to. All these and more are the things that make the actress stand out. While several people agree that she possesses these remarkable traits, not everyone agrees that she deserves to be called the sexiest woman alive. Is she the sexiest actress alive? For the past few months, there have been media publications about Paz Vega winning the title of the sexiest woman alive. However, this information is false. But the question is, why will someone take it upon themselves to propagate this false information? Although the actress has all the makings of a lady deserving of this title, she was not selected as the sexiest woman alive in 2023. The 35-year-old Ashley Graham was actually named World's Sexiest Woman in the May/June 2023 edition by Maxim magazine. However, it's not far-fetched for people to think that Paz Vega is deserving of the Sexiest Woman Alive title. Paz Vega has similar traits to those of the long list of women who have been awarded this title in the past. She has attractive physical features, a bold and fierce persona, and isn't afraid to embrace her own unique style. Although different magazines have different criteria for selecting the individual that wins this title, Paz Vega's stunning and distinctive physical features, immense talent, and confident magnetic aura off and on screens will most likely make her a worthy candidate for the title. She did make it to No. 85 on the Maxim Hot 100 list in 2008, so maybe there is hope for her to be number 1 on that list one day. Well, we will have to wait to find out. Paz Vega's acting exploits. Anyone who has ever watched the actress on screen would agree that there is something unique about her roles. It's like she has a superpower that allows her to embody her roles in such a realistic way. Makes you wonder if she uses a secret acting technique. From the 1990s till date, Paz Vega has continued to do what she loves doing the most. From her role in Spanglish to her role in Rambo: Last Blood, Paz Vega has remained unstoppable. One of Paz Vega's most memorable and loved roles was in the 2004 film Spanglish. In the movie, she portrayed Flor Moreno, a hard-working and determined Mexican immigrant who lands a job as a housekeeper for an American family. Her job as a housekeeper would later morph into something unexpected, taking the viewers on an interesting journey. Although her role as a housekeeper in the film seemed stereotypical, Paz Vega owned her part and made sure to embody the character with authenticity and vulnerability. As expected, she was praised for her role in the film. Her skills opened more doors for her in many more exciting films. The actress exposed her viewers to her versatility when she delivered yet another great performance in the 2006 film Fade to Black. Her role as Martha was that of a young woman who found herself in a chaotic relationship with a musician. Her viewers loved every bit of her role, especially the way she was able to embody the character in a compelling way. She has also showcased her talents on television through her role in the popular TV series The OA and Kaleidoscope. Whatever role she takes on, the actress knows just how to make her character seem real. Whether she is playing a determined immigrant, a troubled lover, or a grieving widow, Paz Vega's performances show that she has a unique ability to convey the complexity of human emotions with grace and conviction. She may not be on the cover of any magazine as the sexiest woman alive, but she is certainly one of the most skilled actresses in the world today, and her star continues to shine brighter each passing day. Behind the smiles and all the flashing cameras, it can be hard to remember sometimes that all of our favorite Hollywood celebrities are humans like us. They feel joy, but they also feel pain, and despite how they present themselves, some of them fight demons in private. These actresses have one thing in common. They each battled ailments, both physical and mental. Some hid it from the rest of the world, and the ones who didn't weren't taken seriously until their demise. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, the epitome of Hollywood glamour, enchanted audiences with her radiant smile and undeniable talent. Born Norma Jean Mortensen on June 1, 1926 in Los Angeles, she endured a tumultuous childhood marked by abandonment and uncertainty, especially seeing as she had no parents. She had to choose between foster homes and experienced early marriages, seeking stability and purpose. However, It was under the name Marilyn Monroe that she skyrocketed to fame in the 1950s. Her performances in iconic films like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Some Like It Hot, and The 7-Year Itch captivated audiences worldwide. With her sultry voice, curvaceous figure, and charismatic presence, she became a symbol of sensuality and feminine allure. Yet, behind the carefully crafted facade of stardom, Marilyn wrestled with inner demons that few knew about. Despite her tremendous success and the adoration of millions, she grappled with insecurities, anxiety, and feelings of loneliness. The pressures of fame and the constant scrutiny of the media took their toll on her emotional well-being. Marilyn's personal life was equally tumultuous, marked by a string of relationships and marriages, including notable ones with Joe DiMaggio and playwright Arthur Miller. These high-profile romances made headlines, but also subjected her to intense public scrutiny, leaving her yearning for genuine connection and stability. To cope with the demands of her career and the emotional turbulence she faced, Marilyn turned to alcohol and prescription drugs. These substances became a refuge from the stressors of her life, offering temporary relief from the inner turmoil she battled. As her fame grew, so did the pressure to maintain her image as the quintessential blonde bombshell. The expectations of Hollywood and the constant need to meet societal beauty standards weighed heavily on her shoulders. Her struggle with body image and self-confidence further exacerbated her emotional struggles. On that fateful day, August 5, 1962, Marilyn was found lifeless in her Brentwood home. The world was in shock and mourning, unable to comprehend the loss of this radiant star. The official cause of death was ruled as an overdose of barbiturates, but the circumstances surrounding her passing remained shrouded in mystery and speculation. It then occurred to her fans and well-wishers that Marilyn has been struggling with drug addiction all her life while fighting to maintain a sweet and cheerful public image. Until her demise, no one really had an idea of the depression, anxiety, illnesses, and drug problems she had to struggle with in her lifetime. In the aftermath of her death, Marilyn Monroe's legacy endured, becoming immortalized as an icon of beauty, vulnerability, and resilience. Her candid vulnerability on and off the screen touched the hearts of many, and she remains an enduring symbol of the complexities of fame and the fragility of human emotions. Clara Bow. Clara Bow, the vivacious it girl of the 1920s, was a trailblazing Hollywood actress who won hearts with her charm and infectious energy. Born on July 29, 1905 in Brooklyn, New York, she rose from a challenging upbringing to become one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Her roles in silent films like Wings and It cemented her as an icon of the Jazz Age. Despite her dazzling on-screen persona, Clara's life was a roller coaster of emotional turmoil and personal struggles. She faced a troubled childhood, marked by poverty and an unstable family environment. In her pursuit of stardom, Clara had to endure numerous hardships and setbacks, which took a toll on her mental well-being. Behind her radiant smile and captivating performances, Clara battled with depression and anxiety. The constant pressure of fame and the demanding nature of the entertainment industry only added to her emotional challenges. The media attention and public adoration she received came with their own set of burdens, leaving Clara yearning for moments of genuine connection and respite from the limelight. Despite her inner turmoil, Clara Bow managed to keep up appearances, projecting an image of the carefree and exuberant flapper girl. She maintained her bubbly and vivacious persona in public, concealing the depth of her struggles from the prying eyes of the world. Her ability to hide her emotional pain from the public eye became her greatest acting feat off-screen. Unfortunately, the facade could only last so long. Clara's mental health battles eventually took a toll on her personal and professional life. As her career started to wane in the early 1930s, the pressures she faced intensified, further exacerbating her emotional struggles. On the outside, nobody suspected the emotional turmoil Clara was facing. She was the picture of success and happiness, adored by fans worldwide. But on September 27, 1965, Clara Bow's life came to an end. The news of her passing shocked everyone, as the public was unaware of the private pain she endured. Her death brought attention to the hidden battles that Clara and many other stars faced behind the glitzy facade of Hollywood. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor, The iconic Hollywood starlet with violet eyes captured the world's heart with her beauty, talent, and charisma. Born on February 27, 1932 in London, she became a Hollywood legend, starring in timeless classics like Cleopatra, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Behind her glamorous life, Elizabeth faced a series of health challenges that shaped her journey. One of the most notable was her struggle with scoliosis, a curvature of the spine. This condition caused her chronic pain and required her to wear painful back braces, which she concealed from the public eye during her film career. In addition to scoliosis, Elizabeth Taylor faced numerous other health issues throughout her life. She battled a serious bout of pneumonia in 1961, and in 1962 she was involved in a near-fatal car accident, which led to chronic back pain and further complications. However, it was her lifelong struggle with various respiratory illnesses that proved to be the most debilitating. Elizabeth was diagnosed with bronchitis, pneumonia, and asthma, which often left her bedridden and affected her ability to work on film sets. Despite her health challenges, she remained a consummate professional, giving exceptional performances even while enduring physical pain. Elizabeth Taylor's health struggles were kept under wraps, with only a few close confidants and medical professionals aware of the extent of her ailments. She was determined to maintain her public image as the epitome of strength and beauty, even when her body was betraying her. Many who saw her radiant smile and stunning appearance on the silver screen had no idea of the physical battles she was fighting off camera. Even those who were aware of her health issues did not fully comprehend the severity of her condition until her untimely death. On March 23, 2011, at the age of 79, Elizabeth Taylor passed away due to congestive heart failure. The world was stunned, and her death brought to light the depth of her health struggles that she had kept private for so long. Vivien Leigh. Vivien Leigh, the exquisite British actress renowned for her roles in Gone with the Wind and A Streetcar Named Desire, left an indelible mark on the world of cinema. Born on November 5, 1913, her talent and beauty captivated audiences, earning her 2 Academy Awards for Best Actress. Behind the glitz and glamour, Vivien faced a tumultuous battle with bipolar disorder, also known as manic depression. This mental health condition caused her to experience extreme mood swings, ranging from depressive lows to manic highs. Despite her immense success on the big screen, her personal life was fraught with emotional turbulence and psychological challenges. However, during her lifetime, many questioned the legitimacy of her ailment. The stigma surrounding mental health issues, particularly in the mid-20th century, often led to misconceptions and skepticism about such conditions. People may have attributed her mood swings to mere theatrical temperament, or dismissed them as a byproduct of the stress of fame. Vivien Leigh, determined to maintain her reputation as a talented actress and a strong, composed woman, kept her struggles hidden from the public eye. She feared that disclosing her mental health issues might tarnish her image and jeopardize her career. As a result, her condition often remained misunderstood, and her actions were sometimes misinterpreted. The public might have witnessed her ebullient moments on the red carpet, or her captivating performances on stage and assumed that her life was all sunshine and roses. However, behind closed doors, Vivien grappled with the profound impact of her bipolar disorder. The unpredictable mood swings and emotional instability took a toll on her personal relationships and contributed to the challenges in her marriages. In the later years of her life, Vivien Leigh's health declined, exacerbated by her mental health struggles. She tragically passed away on July 7, 1967, at the age of 53. Her death brought renewed attention to her ailment, and over time, a better understanding of bipolar disorder has emerged. Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo, the enigmatic Swedish actress, achieved international fame during Hollywood's golden era for her mesmerizing performances in classics like Camille and Ninotchka. Born on September 18, 1905, her striking beauty and intense on-screen presence made her an icon of the silver screen. Behind the scenes, however, Greta battled with anxiety and depression, which deeply affected her emotional well-being. In an era when mental health was not well understood, misconceptions and skepticism surrounded her struggles. People often perceived her as aloof or mysterious, attributing her reserved nature to arrogance or disdain for the public eye. The truth was far more complex. Greta Garbo was a private person who valued solitude and found the pressures of fame overwhelming. Her introverted personality and unease with public attention were mistaken as signs of a distant and unapproachable demeanor. Her anxiety and depression led her to avoid social events and public appearances, further fueling the public's fascination and misconceptions about her. The media's portrayal of her as a reclusive and eccentric figure only added to the mystery surrounding her struggles. Throughout her career, Greta Garbo preferred to keep her personal life shielded from the public eye, and this air of secrecy led to even more speculation about her mental health. Many questioned the authenticity of her emotional struggles, believing them to be mere attempts to maintain her elusive and alluring image. As the years passed and mental health awareness began to grow, a better understanding of anxiety and depression emerged. It became evident that Greta Garbo's struggles were genuine and deeply affected her well-being. She faced inner battles that were far from the glamorous facade she presented on screen. Her decision to step away from the film industry in 1941, at the height of her career, further fueled speculation and misunderstanding. The public was left to speculate about the reasons behind her retirement, with some doubting the validity of her emotional struggles. It wasn't until after her death on April 15, 1990, that a clearer picture of her struggles with anxiety and depression emerged. Those close to her began to share insights into her private life, shedding light on the challenges she faced behind the scenes. Jean Harlow. Jean Harlow. She was an absolute icon and had an incredibly successful career. Born in 1911, Jean was a total trailblazer and paved the way for many female stars to come. Jean's career took off in the 1930s, and she quickly became known for her platinum blonde hair, stunning looks, and magnetic on-screen presence. She starred in several major roles that solidified her status as a Hollywood darling. Some of her most notable movies include Dinner at 8, 1933, Red Dust, 1932, and Bombshell, 1933. The way she could light up the screen was simply magical, and she was adored by fans all over the world. Now, leading up to her tragic passing, things were quite unexpected and shocking. You see, Jean fell seriously ill in 1937, at the young age of 26. But at first, nobody believed it was as serious as it turned out to be. It was hard to imagine that someone so vibrant and full of life could be facing such a dire situation. It all started with an acute case of sunburn, which, although it might sound innocent, probably took a toll on her health. And as if that wasn't enough, she had to deal with a throat infection and influenza, which I'm sure left her feeling quite under the weather. But wait, there's more. Jean had already faced some serious health battles during her teenage years, like scarlet fever and meningitis. Those illnesses had a lasting impact on her well-being, permanently weakening her health. Fast forward to the weekend before her passing, doctors diagnosed her with uremic poisoning. That was a real shocker for everyone involved. But the Times mentioned that she seemed to be responding well to treatment and was on the road to recovery. It gave her fans so much hope and relief to hear that, so they all brushed it off, thinking she would bounce back in no time. But as the days went by, it became apparent that things were far more serious than anyone had anticipated. Jean's health took a sharp turn for the worse, and she was diagnosed with kidney failure, a condition that was not well understood at the time. Unfortunately, the medical treatments back then weren't as advanced as they are today, and her condition worsened rapidly. Despite the gravity of her situation, fans held on to hope and prayed for her recovery. But sadly, on June 7, 1937, Jean Harlow passed away, leaving a gaping hole in the hearts of her devoted admirers and the entertainment world at large. The reaction to her untimely death was profound. People were devastated and couldn't believe they had lost their beloved Jean. It was like losing a friend, as if a shining star had been extinguished too soon. Her passing also raised awareness about the seriousness of kidney-related illnesses and the need for better medical research and advancements in the field. Sometimes it takes a tragedy to draw attention to important issues and spur positive changes. Even to this day, Jean Harlow's memory lives on through her timeless films and the impact she had on the industry. Her legacy as the original platinum blonde bombshell endures, and her performances continue to captivate new generations of moviegoers. So, while we remember Jean for her immense talent and captivating presence on screen, Let's also take a moment to honor her memory and recognize the significance of the contributions she made to the world of entertainment. May she rest in peace, forever cherished in the hearts of her fans. Brittany Murphy. Brittany Murphy. With her unique voice and magnetic presence, Brittany endeared herself to a whole generation through films like Clueless, 1995, and Uptown Girls, 2003. Her versatility extended beyond acting. She also showcased her talents as a voice actress and singer, voicing Gloria in Happy Feet, 2006, and even achieving a #1 hit on Billboard's Hot Dance Club play chart. She was a true gem in the entertainment world, but behind the scenes, Brittany was facing a silent struggle. She lived with health challenges that she kept hidden from the public eye. No one had any idea what she was going through, as she gracefully continued to pursue her career and shine on screen. On December 20th, 2009, tragedy struck. Brittany collapsed in her home, where she lived with her mother, Sharon, and husband Simon Monjack. Despite her best efforts to cope with her illnesses, her body reached a breaking point. She was rushed to the hospital, but her battle with her health took a devastating turn. Brittany went into cardiac arrest and tragically passed away at just 32 years old. It was a heart-wrenching moment for her family, friends, and fans who had no inkling of the health struggles she had been quietly enduring. It's heartbreaking to think that she faced her challenges with such courage and grace, all while keeping her struggles hidden from the world. Sometimes, even those we admire from afar may be fighting their battles in silence. Brittany Murphy's passing left a profound void in the entertainment world, and her fans mourned the loss of a talented and beloved actress. Her memory lives on through her remarkable body of work, which continues to inspire and captivate audiences to this day. Natasha Richardson. Natasha Richardson. Natasha was a force to be reckoned with, making her mark both on stage and on screen. In 1998, she won a Tony Award for her outstanding portrayal of Sally Bowles in the musical Cabaret. She had this amazing ability to captivate audiences, drawing them into the stories she told with her impeccable talent. Off-screen, Natasha had something that seems to be a rarity in Hollywood, a truly happy marriage. She was married to fellow actor Liam Neeson, and their love story was truly heartwarming. Together, they formed a power couple in the entertainment industry, and their love for each other shone bright. But life can be unpredictable, and tragedy struck on March 16, 2009. While taking a skiing lesson, Natasha suffered a fall that resulted in a head injury. Initially, it seemed like just a minor accident, and she declined medical help. Nobody really thought much of it at the time, assuming it was just a small bump. However, soon after, she began experiencing severe headaches, and alarm bells started ringing. Natasha was immediately flown to a hospital, where her condition quickly worsened. It turned out she had suffered an epidural hematoma, a serious and life-threatening condition where blood collects between the skull and the brain. Despite the best efforts of medical professionals, Natasha tragically passed away just 2 days after the accident at only 45 years of age. It was a devastating blow to her family, friends, and fans who never could have imagined that such a seemingly innocuous fall could have such dire consequences. Natasha Richardson's untimely death left a deep void in the entertainment world. Her talent, grace, and warmth will always be remembered. Her legacy lives on through the incredible performances she gave on stage and screen, and the memories she created with her loved ones. Gilda Radner. Gilda Radner, one of the most influential female comedians in history. She made her mark as part of the original cast of Saturday Night Live, where she brought iconic characters like Roseanne and Baba Wawa to life. Her comedic brilliance and infectious humor left an indelible mark on the world of comedy. Gilda's rise to fame was nothing short of meteoric. Her Emmy win in 1978 for her outstanding portrayals on Saturday Night Live catapulted her into the spotlight, making her a household name. Audiences adored her endearing and hilarious characters, and she quickly became a beloved figure in the entertainment industry. In 1985, however, Gilda's life took a dramatic turn. While filming a movie alongside her husband, Gene Wilder, she began experiencing debilitating fatigue and unexplained pain. Months passed before she received a shocking diagnosis, stage 4 ovarian cancer. It must have been an incredibly challenging and overwhelming time for her and her loved ones. Despite the devastating news, Gilda faced her illness with courage and determination. Over the next 2 years, she bravely underwent surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation therapy in a valiant effort to fight the disease. Her memoir, aptly titled It's Always Something, candidly chronicled her battles with cancer and served as a source of inspiration and comfort for many facing similar challenges. Gilda's strength and resilience allowed her to achieve remission for a period, offering hope to her fans and supporters. She was applauded as strong and overcoming her sickness, so no one saw coming what happened next. As it turned out, cancer proved itself a formidable foe, and sadly, it returned with a vengeance. On May 20th, 1989, at the young age of 42, Gilda Radner passed away, leaving a void in the hearts of those who cherished her humor and warmth. Her posthumous Grammy win for Best Spoken Word Recording for It's Always Something was a poignant recognition of her talent and the impact of her candid and touching memoir. Even in her absence, Gilda's influence continued to be felt and celebrated. Gilda's tragic passing also shed light on the importance of early detection and familial history in cancer cases. Several of her family members had died of ovarian cancer, but doctors initially failed to make this crucial connection. Her death raised awareness about the need for early screening and understanding the significance of family health history in identifying potential risks. If there is anything to be learned from all of these, it's that there is a lot going on behind the smiles of all our favorite celebrities in Hollywood. But perhaps the most intriguing one is the life of Marsha Brady. Click on the screen to see this video next. Imagine being a legend, a star lighting up the screens and capturing millions of hearts, only to step out of the limelight at the height of your fame. Meet Pam Dober, a name that might not ring a bell today, but in the late 70s and 80s, she was the talk of the town. With hit shows like Mork and Mindy and My Sister Sam, she was a face you couldn't ignore. Yet, she chose a different path, a path that led her away from the public eye, shrouding her story in mystery. Why would someone with the world at her feet decide to step back? What was the hidden cost of fame that led her to retreat? Stick around as we delve into the captivating story of Pam Dober, a legend you probably didn't know. Detroit, make some noise. Pam may have fit right into the Hollywood scene, but don't let that fool you. She's a good old Midwestern girl that wandered 2,000 miles away from home to chase her wildest dreams. This legendary actress was born on the 18th of October, 1951 in Detroit, Michigan to Eugene and Thelma Dober, and was raised in the area, attending Reed Elementary School in Goodrich before joining North Farmington High School. If you think about it, she was probably a normal girl going about life with no idea she would be on TV someday. Thumbs up to the guy who took her to prom, right? How did she end up all the way in LA, you ask? Well, Detroit is no small town, but you gotta admit, it's not bustling with opportunities for a career in entertainment. At least it wasn't in the 70s. If that took you by surprise, then stay tuned for some more interesting facts. Another moment for college dropouts it is, why does it seem like everybody that ditches the standard, goes to college, and then heads on to find a good job is crashing it? Steve Jobs, Alicia Keys, Mark Zuckerberg, heck even Bill Gates. And now, apparently Pam Dober too. Are the rest of us missing something? Maybe it has something to do with the fact that they had plans down before actually dropping out. Well, at least Pam did. She was happily pursuing a course at Oakland Community College with plans to transfer to a 4-year college while at the same time doing modeling on the side to earn some extra cash. When her modeling career began to take off, she decided to defer for a while. And from the look of things, she never really went back. Well, with good reason. She was probably earning more as a model than she would ever earn at a regular 9-5. Hey, that sounds like a good idea in theory, but stay in school, kids. Until, of course, you have a successful venture going. There seems to be a formula to this dropping out thing. In fact, stick around to find out how this legend went from a college dropout to one of the most recognizable TV faces of the 70s and 80s. Did the world potentially miss out on a supermodel? The supermodel era remains unmatched to date, but did the world miss out on a supermodel with Pam? When her modeling career began to take off, Pam quickly moved to New York to work under Wilhelmina Models and was killing it at her shoots. She was a new face, with the typical all-American girl look, in a career that was just beginning to boom. I mean, if you're going to replace mannequins for live models, it makes sense that you'd pick some of the most appealing faces to represent your brand. And Pam was exactly that. Amidst the glitz and glamour of modeling, Pam became more ambitious and decided to try her hand at acting. Naturally, she started small with appearances on TV commercials and eventually found auditioning for ABC execs. If you ask me, she may have left the fashion industry a little too soon because by the 80s, models were beginning to garner as much attention as celebrities. Do you think she was supermodel material? Let us know in the comments and keep watching to find out whether acting suited her better. The miss before the hit. Ever heard of the show Tabitha? No? Well, most people haven't. Tabitha was a 70s sitcom that was created as a spin-off of the popular show Bewitched. However, like most spin-offs, it fizzled out as quickly as it started. Isn't it time Hollywood read the room and hang it up on the spin-offs? They've been flopping for 50 years now, and somehow someone is still approving them. Fortunately for Pam, while she auditioned for the role, it eventually went to Lisa Hartman. Why haven't you heard of her? Well, having a lead role in a show that tanks can really slow down your career. As a stroke of luck, Pam's audition put her on the radar, and she was enrolled in the talent development program at ABC. I guess a paycheck and a promise of future opportunities are good enough consolation for a missed role, don't you think? Turns out that may not have been the only miss. We have more on that in this video. Imagine being a legend, a star lighting up the screens and capturing millions of hearts, only to step out of the limelight at the height of your fame. Meet Pam Dober, a name that might not ring a bell today, but in the late 70s and 80s, she was the talk of the town. With hit shows like Mork and Mindy and My Sister Sam, she was a face you couldn't ignore. Yet, she chose a different path, a path that led her away from the public eye, shrouding her story in mystery. Why would someone with the world at her feet decide to step back? What was the hidden cost of fame that led her to retreat? Stick around as we delve into the captivating story of Pam Dober, a legend you probably didn't know. A first that never was. Everyone knows Pam from her breakout role as Mindy McConnell on Mork and Mindy. However, did you know that this wasn't her first lead role? While still trying to navigate her way into an acting career, Pam had secured a role on the pilot of the potential series Sister Terry. The show was set to follow the life of a reformed gangster turned nun who dedicated her time to inspiring her students while raising her younger sister. Unfortunately, even in her new life, the protagonist still found herself in the middle of a gang rivalry. Solid plotline, if you ask me. A reformed gangster to terrorize the kids into the straight and narrow path. The parents must have loved her. Nothing better than a reformed gangster teaching your kids, right? Unfortunately, the show was never picked up. However, this pilot episode might have been the breakthrough her career needed. Yup, we're circling back to the pilot in a few, so stick around. Turns out it wasn't just a waste of time. The pilot episode that launched a career. Think about it, you're an upcoming actress with no real experience, and your only chance at a lead role just got shut down by the execs. Sucks, right? Well, you're wallowing in your missed opportunity and your agent calls you to tell you got the role. What role? Well, the one you didn't audition for, duh. You start on Monday. Must be nice to be lucky. And yet, this is exactly what happened with Pam. The show Sister Terry may have been a bust, however. The Gary Marshalls had watched the episode and decided he would cast Pam should an opportunity present itself. And it did, sooner than expected actually, because after bringing in an alien appearance on his hit show, Happy Days boosted the ratings. He quickly combined her scenes from the ditched pilot episodes with a few from his show and pitched a pilot for the show Mork and Mindy, entitled Maybe. Being a newbie in the game isn't easy, and landing a role without having to compete against hundreds of other aspiring actors is something you expect to hear from Bruce Willis or Angelina Jolie. And yet, when presented with this unique opportunity, she was mad. Apparently, she thought the script was stupid, and was even more confused as to who the hell Robin Williams was. Yup, the Robin Williams. Well, okay. In her defense, he was pretty new in the game too, but so was she. Pam was invited to meet Gary Marshalls to discuss the role, and honestly, what else could he do? He had promised a show, and now the lead actress the show depended on wasn't quite into it. Fortunately, after watching Robin's portrayal of Mork on Happy Days, she was sold. Thank heavens for that, because if we're being honest, Mork and Mindy did give the world the legendary Robin Williams. You're probably wondering how she fared as an actress after being a bit difficult to secure. Well, you don't have to wait much longer. Trouble on set. After all the trouble it took to get her on board, you would expect a stellar performance on set, right? Unfortunately, that's not quite how it went. Turns out, Pam wasn't very experienced with staying in character, and often broke character when Williams delivered his funnier punchlines. In her defense, Williams was a force to be reckoned with, but still, I couldn't help but feel underwhelmed by that. Fortunately, Pam used the show as a learning experience and got better with time. In fact, in its first season, the show was the #3 show on Nielsen's rating. If that wasn't enough of a setback to start, the execs began pushing to sexualize her character to boost the numbers. Looks like not too much has changed over the last 50 years. Fortunately, she was able to push back with the help of Williams, and all I have to say is good for her. Mork and Mindy was eventually canceled after 4 seasons, and you can't help but wonder what she did next. Was she a one-hit wonder? Did she actually launch a career off this show? Hollywood reign. After Pam appeared on Mork and Mindy, she became quite popular within the scene, and if we're keeping it real, she was the '70s celebrity crush for many. Can you really blame them? She was a hit, and Hollywood wasn't letting her go anytime soon. Her next role was a voiceover for the animation series Mork and Mindy, Laverne and Shirley, Fawn's Hour. The series combined popular characters from hit ABC sitcoms, and as expected, she voiced Mindy. Talk about a character you can't shake off. When she finally did shake off the Mindy hype, she secured roles in the films: A Wedding, Swan Lake, Wild Horses, and The Face of Fears. You get it. She was all over your screens. 4 years after the Mork and Mindy hype had died down, she secured another title role in the show My Sister Sam, alongside Rebecca Schieffer. The show was a huge hit in its first season, but plummeted in its second season after it was moved to Saturday night. That's definitely on the execs. It's a good thing you get paid for the episode filmed over there. As a huge Pam Dober fan, you've probably checked out her entire portfolio, so let's quickly get back to some of the more exciting stuff. Jack of all trades. Present-day Hollywood must be a complete mystery and straight-up joke to the older generation because, from the look of things, you needed to do it all to have a shot in the game back then. Pam was no exception, and when she wasn't on set filming shows, she entertained live audiences in the theaters and, well, it was always a performance worth watching. I could go on and on about her professional career, but hey, don't you want to know more about her personal life and work outside of Hollywood? Well, I do. Who's the lucky guy? Ever seen a couple and thought, looks like they both got lucky? Well, here's your chance. Pam Dober is married to, drumrolls, Mark Harmon. Sound familiar? It should. Think Leroy Gibb. A match made in heaven, right? Pam and Mark met at the height of their careers and have been married since March of 1987. That's a Hollywood record for sure. Want to know how they did it? It's pretty simple, actually. They've kept their private lives away from the media and the public in general. Pretty solid advice right there. Social media couples should probably take it. But how did two celebrities at the height of their careers keep the media at bay? Here's how. Early retirement. You're not going to like this, but one of the easiest ways to keep the media from exploiting your relationship is by simply stepping away from the spotlight, which is the exact route Pam took. After having children, Pam was over the entertainment industry, and she wanted to be a regular soccer mom that drives her kids to school and makes cookies for school sales. Can you imagine dropping your kids off at school and meeting one of your favorite actresses? Must be great to live in LA. Pam jumped right into the homemaker role and hasn't looked back. I'm sure a hefty sum in her bank account from her time working made the decision easier. I wouldn't think twice about quitting too if I had enough money to last me a lifetime. So what has Pam been up to since she hung her boots in Hollywood? You'd be surprised to find out. Pam is a gun control advocate. Who would have thought that the all-American girl on TV would end up in Congress calling for saner gun control laws? Well, not me for sure. Pam was forced to make a stance on gun control laws when her friend and co-star, Rebecca Schieffer, on the show My Sister Sam, was shot by a stalker at her Los Angeles home. This tragedy also unearthed a flaw in the Department of Motor Vehicles that made it easy for a stalker to find and kill Rebecca. While Pam was able to find justice for her friend and inspire a new law to protect the privacy of other motorists' addresses, the trauma of what happened to her friend never left her. In fact, it was part of the reason she decided to step back from the limelight. Moving on to a much lighter note. Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America. Pam may have left the spotlight, but that doesn't mean her impact on the world ended with her retirement. She instead took to more social causes and became a spokesperson for Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America. If you're looking to change the world, then Pam could be an inspiration to realize that even efforts made on a small scale away from the public eye make a difference. From the look of things, the retired actress was thriving in her home life and philanthropic causes. So what prompted her to return to the screens? A final reunion. After more than a decade of not gracing the screens, Pam made a comeback on an episode of Robin Williams' show The Crazy Ones, as a way to give the audience one of the most awaited TV romance reunions. The two friends had not seen each other in 20 years, and the episode must have evoked as much nostalgia in the actors as it did the audience. Unfortunately, this friendship reunion did not last long as Robin Williams took his own life a few months later. To date, Pam maintains that she returned for her friend, and it's great that they got to see each other again. New Hollywood beginnings. Mark Harmon has played the lead role in the show NCIS for close to 18 years, and at first fans were excited for him to partner with his wife on the show. After over a decade of waiting, it finally happened. Did you notice, or were you completely oblivious to Marcy Warren's identity? Don't worry, no blame on my part. It's been over a decade since Pam graced our screens and she's changed a lot. You're free to go and rewatch her appearance and see if you can spot the resemblance to her younger self. So, why did it take more than a decade to get her on board? Well, life for one. And secondly, the writers just couldn't find a script exciting enough for her. As a rule of thumb, she had no interest in playing Gibbs' love interest. Pretty sassy. Well, why play pretend when she's already his love interest in real life? Good thing the writers finally found something for her. Would you like to see her again? I sure would. I'm not so sure about her wanting to come back, as apparently she hasn't watched the DVDs with her appearance because she doesn't want to keep pointing out how old she looks. I personally think she looks stunning for her age. Actually, how old do you think Pam Dober is? Talking of age, can you believe Pam Dober is 71? She definitely looks great for her age, and you've got to wonder what the secret is. I mean, Sandra Bullock did try to tell us, but is it really? If you grew up watching Pam on Mork and Mindy, that would put you in your mid-40s to 50s. Wow, doesn't time fly? If you're just now finding out about Pam Dober, then it's not too late for you. I'm sure with a little digging through the internet, you can find some DVDs of her work and a player. Well, I mean, maybe once you've finished all the shows you're watching on 3 different streaming platforms. Nonetheless, being able to work and remain relevant in your 70s is a flex most of us should aim for in our respective career paths. Talking of careers, here's one for the books. Gary Marshall's impact on Dauber's career. Gary Marshall was one of the most revered screenwriters and film directors of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and throughout his career, he launched a lot of new talent like Julia Roberts and the one-of-a-kind comedy star Robin Williams, who eventually took off in the industry. Pam was no exception, as Gary saw her raw talent and nurtured it by giving her an opportunity on his hit show, Mork and Mindy. Dauber has spoken highly of Gary and credits his belief in her despite her lack of experience for her takeoff in the game. After he died, Pam joined a few other actors on a tribute episode on the show The Odd Couple. At this point, I'm convinced Dauber is a sweetheart to be around. She literally got along with all her colleagues. I bet anyone would look forward to lunch breaks with her at the office, a career that never was. We all know celebrities for the careers they eventually ventured into, but have you ever wondered what paths they would have taken otherwise? Dauber's talent in the arts came from a lot of hard work, and it didn't hurt that she grew up with the inspiration of a fellow artist in the form of her dad. As a matter of fact, Dauber initially intended to follow in her father's footsteps and pursue a career as a commercial artist before finding her way to her true calling. At the end of the day, we're glad she finally found her way of expressing and sharing her art with the world, even if it was a short career. I bet the conversation about dropping out of school must have sucked, but seeing how Dauber has passed up roles because her parents were coming into town goes to show that they did eventually wrap their heads around the news. Maybe actually being successful at her side venture had a lot to do with that. With all the support she's received from her family, it only makes sense that she'd offer the same for her children, a family of entertainers. Is it a surprise that both Sean and Ty have taken an interest in the entertainment industry? Not so much. How could they not? Their parents quite literally ran the game. Despite this, Sean and Ty had the luxury of growing up in a normal home away from the spotlight, unlike most celebrity kids, and have had the chance to define their paths. Seriously, we should all give a round of applause for the few sane parents in Hollywood that do not plaster their children on magazines and social media. Sean is an actor and director, and has played the young Gibbs on the show NCIS. When he's not the main focus of the camera, he also doubles down as a stuntman. Ty, on the other hand, took a much safer career behind the scenes as a screenwriter, and both the young men seem to be flourishing in their specific endeavors. The secret to healthy and happy kids? Parents who are interested in what they are doing. Take it from Pam herself. A look into a celebrity wife. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to be a famous wife? Most of us imagine it is a relaxed life living in a castle with hired left and only perfect family moments. Apparently not Pam. Despite being an actress and probably the all-American girl everybody had the hots for in the 70s, Dober embraces being a traditional Midwestern wife. When she was working full-time, she felt she didn't have enough time to cater to her family, and when she couldn't keep up, she simply gave up the fame. According to her, having Mark as a dad would be iconic enough and she would simply be a mom. She really is the whole package. I know you hear the modern-day feminists shrieking in the back, but they can always sit this one out. Which Pam Dober facts caught your attention? Let us know in the comment and check out the next video in this series. They exist in the spotlight for our entertainment. They train, memorize scripts, and put on a good show. In return, they receive our fan letters and adoration. However, there is a darker side to the life of some Hollywood stars. A dark side that none of their adoring fans can fathom. And it is that not everyone wishes them well. As a matter of fact, some wish for their demise enough to make it happen. These actors had their lives snuffed out and stolen from them, but it gets weirder. Till today, no one knows who did it, and no one knows why. George Reeves. He started his career in the early 1930s, and he was known for his determination and doggedness to make it in Hollywood. However, real recognition came in the 1950s when he was selected to star as Superman in The Adventures of Superman. The series was one of the most epic to hit Hollywood at the time, and soon everyone was talking about George Reeves. He had finally gotten his big break after over 20 years of persistence. Sadly, fate has a twisted plan for him in the future, one that would puzzle even the shortest brains and the quickest minds. On June 16, 1969, George Reeves was found lifeless in his bedroom with a gunshot wound to the head from his own gun. Taking his own life seems to be the most logical conclusion, but there is more to the story. He was not alone. Earlier that same night, George had organized a party in his own home in Benedict Canyon, Los Angeles. Several guests, acquaintances, and even his fiancée were in attendance. But it gets more curious because later that night, reports say that George had gotten into a heated argument with his friend Leonore. However, others say there was no disturbance of any kind. Even though the gun was George's and was always in his room, according to some of his close friends and family, there was no reason for him to take his own life, and the act was surprising. This raised even more theories as to whether George was shot instead, probably by someone who knew where he kept his gun, someone he trusted to let into his room. Reeves' murder strongly believed her son was incapable of taking his own life, and she urged authorities to look deeper into the matter. Was Reeves shot by someone else? Was it accidental? Numerous investigations were carried out, but even until today the case is classified as he took his own life. The theories and speculations surrounding how he passed still exist. However, due to the passage of time and the passing on of key people integral to the investigation, we will never know the real truth about what happened that night. We would never really know how our favorite Superman passed away. But if the speculations are true, Reeves was given a merciful send-off compared to this next actor. Bob Crane. On June 19, 1978, George was found lifeless in his apartment in his home in Scottsdale, Arizona. There were clear signs of blunt trauma to his head. One thing was obvious: someone took his life. His passing came as a shock to the world, but his fans and well-wishers alike, and the question on everyone's lips was, who would do such a thing? Bob was mostly known as the star of the 1960s sitcom Hogan's Heroes. As far as anyone else knew, he was loved and cherished by all those around him. Who would hate him enough to take his life so brutally? Investigations opened and the world was keen on seeing where it went. However, according to some discoveries uncovered as a result of the investigation, it became clear that Crane was not exactly who people thought he was. According to reports, he struggled with perversions and addiction, but in the end, none of this was directly relevant to how he lost his life. All through the 1990s, the investigations led nowhere and the authorities were about to drop the case and sign it off as largely unsolved. But in 1992, new evidence saw the light of day, and this led everyone to a prime suspect. His name was John Henry Carpenter, and he was Bob's friend. He worked as a video technician, and based on the evidence, he was charged for the death of Bob Crane. All of the evidence then portrayed that Carpenter has a history of financial troubles, and because he had a long-standing relationship with Bob, he expected the actor to help, but Bob was not exactly forthcoming. There was incredible motive, and so all of Bob's family and friends held their breath to know the verdict from the court on the matter. However, in a dramatic turn of events, in 1994, Carpenter was discharged and acquitted over lack of substantial evidence against him. It is baffling to everyone how all these happened. Until today, no one knows how Bob Crane passed away and who was responsible. Carpenter passed away as well 10 years after his acquittal, and as such, the case is closed and unsolved. It appears when someone mysteriously passes away, the evidence first points to someone close to them. In this next one, the suspect was as close can get. Natalie Wood. Splendor was the name of the boat she was on. It seemed like a perfect night. Her husband was by her side, and her friend and co-actor tagged along as well. What could go wrong? Sadly, everything went wrong. As later that night, Natalie drowned, and that was the end of her life. But how did such a thing happen? According to her husband, Robert Wagner, she went missing for a few hours, and when she was found, she was floating on the water with her head face down, long gone and lifeless. She was still wearing her flannel nightgown, a jacket, and socks. Even as investigations began, several speculations and theories began to circulate about what really happened that night. Some said she must have fallen off the boat and then drowned to her death. Others believed there was a much more sinister side to the story, that she was pushed intentionally. Either way, the authorities at first concluded she must have fallen off by accident. But when they examined her body, they found bruises and scratches, almost like she had been in a scuffle with someone first before she drowned. There was definitely foul play, and so Natalie's husband, Robert Wagner, became the prime suspect in the ongoing case. He claimed he had nothing to do with what happened to Natalie, and he would never do anything to hurt his wife. In 2012, the speculations and theories surrounding Natalie's mysterious passing intensified as the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department changed the cause of her passing from accidental drowning to drowning plus undetermined factors. To add fuel to the fire, Natalie Wood's sister came on the Dr. Phil show in 2018 to directly and vehemently say that Wagner took her sister's life that night on the boat intentionally. In the end, whether Wagner is the prime suspect or not, there is simply not enough evidence to nail him to the crime, thus making this another unsolved mystery and a weird passing indeed. But so far, this next mysterious and weird passing is vindictively creative and tragic. Thelma Todd. Parked at the garage of her own restaurant, the Sidewalk Cafe, Thelma was found lifeless in her car, a shock to everyone who loved her, and a great loss to anyone who cared about her. According to the autopsy, she had passed on from carbon monoxide poisoning because she had left the car running by mistake. At the time, a lot of mistakes had happened this same way, and on the surface, the claim was plausible. But Thelma's family and friends begged to differ. They insisted that they didn't think this was an accident. They believed someone did this to her, and they pointed out enough loopholes to arouse suspicion. For one, they claimed that Thelma was not an irresponsible person to have made such a mistake. She was always so careful and would never do such erroneously. But even more significantly, they pointed out that if she had mistakenly left the car running, why was she sitting in the passenger seat and not the driver's seat when they had found her? Valid points all around, and when the coroner looked even more closely, it was discovered that there were signs of trauma on her neck, like something had been forced down her throat. A pipe, maybe. But who could have done such a thing? Investigations, as well as speculations, revealed some major suspects in her tragic demise: her ex-husband, her current lover, and a gangster named Lucky Luciano. According to the reports, Thelma has received a lot of threats to her life if she did not pay back the sum of $10,000 she owed. She had also been seen at a party beforehand and left in anger as she had a heated argument with her ex-husband. All of these surrounding circumstances were enough to cast doubt as to the self-infliction of her demise. Some believed her ex-husband, or even one Pat DeSicco, who was her companion that night, may have had something to do with it, or was it the gangster to whom she owed money? So many questions are unanswered, and so many mysteries remain. But in the end, the case was inconclusive and had to be closed. As far as reasons for ending someone else's life goes, the speculations around the strange demise of this next actress are wild. Marilyn Monroe. On August 5, 1962, the world shook to its core as a result of the news of Marilyn Monroe's demise. Her lifeless body was found in her own home in Los Angeles, and it was ruled that she passed as a result of a drug overdose which was believed to be intentional. Therefore, the reports were that she had overdosed on the drugs to purposely end her own life. But as it turned out, thousands of her fans, well-wishers, friends, and admirers pushed back this narrative, and their collective claim was that she had no motive to end her life. It was believed that there was an assailant in the picture who had forced her to overdose on those drugs, probably at gunpoint, to make it look like it was self-inflicted. But this begs several questions. Who? Why? According to the speculations, it is believed that her demise was induced by an assailant to shut her up due to her affairs in the past. This was plausible because her affairs in the past could be described to be nothing short of wild and spontaneous. A few years before her demise, Marilyn Monroe was entangled with both JFK and his brother simultaneously. While the relationship got tongues wagging at the time, speculations began to fly around that her life had ended prematurely because she held secrets that could be detrimental to the brothers, and so she had to be shut up. In the end, these are just speculations, and no conclusive proof has been given to link her demise with the brothers, leaving yet another weird demise unsolved and puzzling. It is not far-fetched to believe anyone would want to end the life of a famous person. But what reason could there be to target an upcoming star in Hollywood? The next actress was a victim of a most vicious demise, and no one knows why. Elizabeth Short. Elizabeth Short, also known as the Black Dahlia, was a young woman whose demise remains one of the most infamous, strange, and weirdest cases in Hollywood history. Born on July 29, 1924, Elizabeth had always been interested in acting and entertainment. She showed great promise and was loved by everyone she came across. However, on the 15th of July, 1947, Elizabeth Short was found lifeless in a vacant lot in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. Her body was discovered bisected at the waist and severely mutilated. The scene was awful and gruesome, and as such, it became a very public affair with so many questions raised. The exact cause of Elizabeth Short's death was eventually determined to be exsanguination, which is bleeding out due to multiple lacerations to her face and head. The medical examiner's report indicated that she had suffered blunt force trauma to the head and was also assaulted. However, despite all the questions that have arisen regarding her passing and all the gruesomeness involved, no one knows who the assailant was or why anyone would do such a thing to such a young, sweet, and talented upcoming actress. Investigations began and ended for lack of leads, clarity, or a way forward with the case, and till today, the case remains one of the strangest and weirdest to have ever occurred in Hollywood and also the most famous. As expected, several speculations arose regarding the shocking and tragic passing. Some say Elizabeth was a victim of a serial killer. Others say it was a director or film producer who she had refused his advances trying to teach her a lesson. Another theory suggests that she may not have been as innocent and easygoing as most thought, and that she may have made dangerous enemies along the way, and they had finally caught up to her. Yet no one knows for sure who did such a terrible act, and why. The mystery may remain, but even when the world suspected the assailant of the next demise, he still walked around a free man, and no one could do anything about it. Virginia Rappe. In a tale that continues to shroud the annals of Hollywood history in mystery and intrigue, the year was 1921 when tragedy struck the American silent film industry. Virginia Rappe, a promising actress of her time, met a haunting end following a raucous party held at the prestigious St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco. Prohibition had cast its shadow over the nation, but it seemed the allure of the forbidden only heightened the intensity of the revelry that night. Despite the ban on liquor, spirits flowed freely, fueling the merriment and mayhem within the hotel suite's walls. As the night unfolded, a fateful encounter took place between Virginia Rappe and the famed actor Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle. In the confines of a bedroom, The atmosphere turned grim when Rappe's cries for help pierced through the air, reaching the ears of other guests in attendance. Rushing to her aid, they found the actress fully dressed, but writhing in agonizing pain on the bed. In the aftermath of the disturbing incident, Rappe's friend revealed a harrowing statement made by the starlet. "He did this to me." This revelation raised haunting questions about the events that had unfolded behind closed doors. Tragically, Virginia Rappe succumbed to her injuries 3 days later, her life claimed by a ruptured bladder. Complicating matters further, Rappe had a history of recurrent bladder infections, adding complexity to the circumstances surrounding her untimely demise. The spotlight turned towards Roscoe Arbuckle, who faced a series of trials and charges in connection to Rappe's death. The first 2 trials resulted in hung juries, and it was only in the 3rd trial that Arbuckle found acquittal, the law proclaiming him an innocent man. Despite the court's verdict, the court of public opinion refused to absolve him of guilt. Even as time passed and Arbuckle's life came to a tragic end at the age of 46 due to a heart attack, the whispers of suspicion persisted. Theories and speculations continued to circulate, with many fingers still pointing at the actor, refusing to let go of their doubts. Brittany Murphy. At the age of 32, Brittany's promising life was cut short, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and unsettling doubts. It all began innocently enough, or so it seemed, with Brittany falling victim to what appeared to be flu-like symptoms. However, as the days passed, the gravity of her condition worsened, and despite her fighting spirit, she succumbed to the cruel clutches of an enigmatic illness. At the time, her passing was tragically ruled as an accident, leaving fans and loved ones mourning the loss of a remarkable talent. But fate had more twists in store for this sorrowful saga. A mere 6 months later, the stunning tragedy struck again when Brittany's husband, Simon Monjack, met a fate eerily similar to his late wife's. The shocking parallels between their deaths aroused suspicion among family members, igniting a storm of disbelief and distress. With a cloud of uncertainty casting a heavy shadow, the question that gripped the hearts of many was, could these be mere coincidences, or was something far more sinister at play? The idea of a murder-suicide loomed ominously, haunting the minds of those trying to make sense of the inexplicable tragedy. Amidst the turmoil, Brittany's father, driven by an undying determination to unearth the truth, embarked on a relentless pursuit of justice. Astonishingly, an independent toxicologist he consulted revealed a chilling revelation. Evidence that suggested Brittany had been poisoned with the deadly substance, arsenic. This shocking claim sent shockwaves through the world, raising a haunting suspicion that her life may have been deliberately taken away from her. Despite such a compelling revelation, the authorities seemed reluctant to reopen the case, leaving a perplexing and painful void for those seeking closure. The unexplained silence from the police only deepened the mystery, leaving many to wonder if there were hidden forces at play, protecting the secrets of a potential killer. It is yet another weird demise that leaves tons of questions unanswered. But in the case of yet another tragic demise, the victim left behind a wife who did not take her husband's passing lying down. David Carradine. Thai authorities stumbled upon the lifeless body of David Carradine, the celebrated actor and martial artist renowned for his roles in the iconic Kill Bill films. The disturbing scene unfolded within the confines of a Bangkok hotel room where the 72-year-old legend was found hanging, his life taken in a manner that left even seasoned investigators baffled. David Carradine had ventured to Thailand with a sense of purpose, diligently working on his latest film endeavor, Stretch. Little did anyone know that this vibrant artist's life would be tragically cut short during this fateful stay. The news of his demise reverberated through the film industry and beyond, leaving a void that seemed impossible to fill. The initial findings from a private autopsy brought forth the grim revelation that David Carradine's passing was attributed to asphyxiation. However, the perplexing part was that it ruled out self-infliction as the cause, leaving the haunting possibility of an accidental demise lingering in the minds of those seeking answers. Amidst the grief and confusion, The Hollywood Reporter revealed that his widow took legal action, filing a wrongful death suit against the very company responsible for the film that brought him to Thailand. Her claim was based on the assertion that an assistant, entrusted with ensuring Carradine's safety and well-being while navigating the unfamiliar city, had allegedly abandoned him on the night that ultimately claimed his life. The lawsuit sought justice and accountability for the tragic loss of a beloved husband and a treasured talent. However, this next case sends shivers down the spine as one small, seemingly innocent injury caused a man to pass away in his sleep. Jack Nance. In a chilling sequence of events that unfolded on a seemingly ordinary day, the entertainment world was left in shock and grief as it lost a beloved actor renowned for his roles in cult classics like Eraserhead and Twin Peaks, Win. The fateful encounter began innocently enough when the actor met up with friends at a cozy coffee shop nestled in South Pasadena, California, on a seemingly regular afternoon, as recalled by People magazine. However, the dark cloud of tragedy loomed over the gathering as the actor bore a visible mark of distress, a bruised eye that immediately caught the attention of his concerned companions. When questioned about the cause of his injury, he candidly confessed and said, "I told off some kid," in a tone that suggested he may have met his match. The actor, identified as Jack Nance, appeared to accept the consequences of his actions, seemingly indicating that his bruised eye was a direct result of standing up for himself. As the day waned, little did anyone know that these would be the last moments of Nance's life in the company of his friends. The sun rose on the following day, only to unveil a horrifying discovery. Leo Bulgarini, a screenwriter and the husband of actress Catherine Case, was the one to find Nance lifeless on the floor of his apartment. A haunting silence descended upon the news, leaving everyone grappling with a sense of disbelief and grief. In the aftermath of this tragic event, authorities diligently investigated the circumstances surrounding Nance's untimely passing. Their findings shed a grim light on the reality of what had transpired. It was revealed that Nance had endured a brutal ordeal before his demise, falling victim to blunt force trauma to his head. The puzzle pieces began to fall into place when authorities learned that Nance had been involved in a physical altercation with two men at a donut shop the very day before he was found lifeless. The implications of this discovery were harrowing, as it indicated that the actor's life had been cruelly cut short in the aftermath of that violent encounter. The actor's courage and resolve to stand up for himself, although commendable, had tragically led him down a path of no return. Unfortunately, while these talented actors were snuffed out before their time and never got to see their full potential, other luckier actors pushed the boundaries of what was possible in Hollywood and appeared in successful movies even with low budgets. Click on this video to see some of the low-budget movies that turned out to be successful.